kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault and battery, the attempted use of a fireplace poker as a deadly weapon. No, I'm not describing an episode of Criminal Minds. I'm talking about the insane iCarly special, iPsycho. This episode was so iconic that it was actually nominated for Favorite Family TV Movie at the 2011 People's Choice Awards. Kind of weird because it's not a movie. It's just a 47-minute episode of a TV show. But regardless, it lost to Camp Rock 2: The Final Jam, which is in fact an actual movie. So I guess that's fair. And honestly, even as a kid, I remember being shaken to my core by the crazy, illegal events that took place in this episode. And on top of all the fake crime that happens in this episode, there was even some real crimes going on behind the scenes. The actress who plays Nora, who was actually 16 at the time of filming this, ended up meeting the actor who plays Lubert on set. And at that time, Lubert was fucking 32 years old. And of course, the actor who plays Lubert goes on to groom her, and they eventually get married despite the 16-year age gap. And since this episode premiered all the way back in 2010, I figured it was probably time to take a look back and see if it's still just as unsettling today. This is one of the most requested iCarly episodes by you guys, so I'm very excited to be doing this one. And as always, if you like this video, please be sure to throw us a like and maybe even subscribe. I might just jump out of my pants if you do. And as always, if you have any other episodes or shows you'd like me to cover, let me know down in the comments. All right, let's dive in. The episode starts off with Spencer battling a fly, and when he calls out to Carly to ask where she moved the fly swatter, she responds that she got rid of it because killing flies is mean. And honestly, this shows us that Carly has a bleeding heart. She's a caring person and she takes pity on poor, disgusting little creatures, which will be important to the plot of this episode. So, Spencer uses an umbrella as his weapon of choice to kill the fly. When it lands on the countertop, he takes a swing and chips off a piece of the countertop in the process. Carly and Sam show up to see what all the ruckus is about, and Freddy waltzes in the front door of the apartment. Do they not lock their door? Seattle has a pretty high home burglary rate compared to the national average, so they should really consider locking the door. Freddy starts showing off some pictures of himself that he's planning to bring to Webicon to autograph for fans, and the girls naturally laugh in his face. Hell, even Spencer joins in and starts clowning on Freddy. But to be fair, what did bro really expect? He really thought that they'd be impressed by this pose?
What's in the box?
Oh, just some photos.
Donuts?
No. Me.
Sam has finally had enough and sticks her tongue in Freddy's ear, assault, and suddenly the fly reappears right on Spencer's face.
Got him.
You didn't get him.
Oh no, well then look at the, oh.
Spencer turned into the Karate Kid there for a second, and honestly, I really thought he was gonna slap himself in the face to kill the fly. Pretty good fake out. The kids are chilling in the iCarly studio reading through emails when Freddy starts acting like an actual freak.
Shampoo, mouthwash,
Yeah, add that to the list.
What?
Reasons why you don't have a lot of friends.
The girls do not laugh at Freddy's joke. They are completely unimpressed, just like how they reacted to his photos. In fact, his friends don't seem to like him at all in any capacity. Carly sees a video message from one of their fans, a girl named Nora Dershlit, and they all gather around to watch it. And something I noticed is after Nora says her name, Carly laughs at her last name being Dershlit, but she's not talking over the video.
My name is Nora Dershlit.
Dershlit.
It's as if Nora pauses and just breathes into the camera to give the iCarly crew time to make fun of her. The same thing happens when she says she is the biggest fan of iCarly ever, and Sam teases, "Looks like we found a girlfriend for Freddy," but it's just silent while Sam says that, even though they aren't pausing the video.
iCarly is my life.
I see a girlfriend for Freddy.
And to prove my point, here's 15 seconds of uncut footage showing exactly what Nora's video would have looked like if the camera never cut away.
iCarly is my life.
I see a girlfriend for Freddie.
My name is Nora Dershlit.
Dershlit. That's not funny.
Whatever. Nora invites them all to her 16th birthday party, which happens to be only 15 minutes away from WebaCon. She then guilt trips all of them by saying no one showed up to her birthday parties last year and a year before. Sam tells Carly to just delete that nonsense.
I don't want to go to Nora Dershlet's lame birthday party. That girl has a sad life. So does Freddie. We can't fix the world.
And Sam is right. She's the only one with any street smarts out of any of these people. Come on, guys. Stranger danger. Going to an internet random's house is crazy. But once Nora mentions that there will be a chocolate fountain at the party, Sam, sadly, jumps on board.
And a big chocolate fountain.
I say we go.
Cut to Spencer attempting to fix the countertop he broke earlier.
Aren't there professionals that fix countertops?
Excuse me, I am a sculptor. I think I can fix a little broken countertop. Ow! Owie!
What? Bro didn't use any sharp objects or tools. He was using glue. How did he hurt himself? Freddy shows up and goes over the itinerary with Carly for WebaCon.
Okay, the train gets into Olympia at 7:07. We take a cab to Nora's house, arriving there by 7:26, party till 7:45, then cab it back to the hotel, getting there by 8:05. Then we check
When
into
do we
our-
go to the bathroom?
Arriving at Nora's birthday party at 7:26 and only staying till 7:45 is a total of 19 minutes. Does that even count as showing face? I mean, that's crazy. They really want credit for doing this good deed while doing the absolute bare minimum. Carly and Freddie head down to the lobby to leave with Sam, and right after they leave, Gibby knocks at the door. He says he's there to return their sleeping bag because he won't be needing it anymore.
Just wanted to return this sleeping bag. I don't need it anymore.
Why did that trigger the laugh track? What's funny about not needing a sleeping bag anymore? He tells Spencer he just found out he's considered too old to go to camp now that he's 15.
Well, I know how you feel. I remember when they said I wasn't allowed to go to camp anymore.
Because you were too old?
No.
I need to know what Spencer did to get banned from camp. What's the backstory here? So Spencer asks Gibby what he's gonna do instead of camp.
So if you can't go to camp, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Sit home, take a bath, watch reruns of Different Strokes.
Hey.
Again, with the audience reaction? Why are they so emotional about Gibby saying he's gonna go watch reruns of a sitcom? Do they just react to anything Gibby says at all? Spencer tries to cheer him up and invites him to come to Camp Spencer for the next few days, and Gibby says, hell fucking yeah! Cut to an atrocious looking CGI train. Why? Was it too hard to get some footage of a random train at night? And then, the iCarly gang arrives at Nora's house. Nora starts acting like a sus creep right away, and Sam again is the only one who seems to pick up on the behavior and to be icked by it. Carly asks, so where is everyone else? Where do you think, Carly? Did you not hear on the video invite that no one showed up to her last party? Kind of a rude question. No one else is at the party besides Cramps, the 87-year-old clown. Nora throws on a fucking 8-track tape, which hasn't really been relevant since the 80s, and she grabs Freddy's shoulders and forces him to slow dance with her. And Cramps the clown forces Carly to dance with him against her will.
No.
Dance me.
She gives a verbal no, but Cramps still forces himself on her until she finally starts to slow dance with him. Meanwhile, Gibby is all excited to start fake camping with Spencer, but Spencer is still trying to repair the corner of the countertop. Gibby decides to be a good sport and says they can finish fixing the counter first and start camp after it's done. Back at Nora's house, Cramps the clown is taken away by paramedics because he had an off-screen aneurysm and died on the spot while Sam was dancing with him.
I'm really sorry your clown had an aneurysm.
I'm sorry he had an aneurysm while I was dancing with him.
Not iCarly having a kill count.
Possible dead clown at 4286 Longleaf Drive.
And fun fact, the address the paramedic just said, 4286 Longleaf Drive, is the same address that one of the criminal money printers, Bryce Granger, lives. From Drake and Josh, Go Hollywood. And that is a wild reference. Nora starts sobbing into the fireplace and... I'm not happy. No young girl is safe on a Dan Schneider show. Even the weirdo character with no friends still has to wear an uncomfortably short dress while bending over like that. Please make it stop. Sam is ready to bounce and head back to the hotel already, and correctly points out that they were supposed to only be here for 20 minutes. And I also have to point out that she completely ignores the chocolate fountain behind her, which was supposedly the only reason she agreed to come.
And a big chocolate fountain.
I say we go.
Carly and Freddie, being the goody two-shoes they are, don't want to leave her all alone while she's crying uncontrollably. They decide to do an impromptu episode of iCarly live from Nora's house to get people to show up at her party. Nora gets so excited that she throws up in the fireplace because Dirty Dan just wanted another shot of her bending over in that dress. Back at the apartment, Gibby is starting to get pissed that Spencer is taking so long to fix the countertop and that they haven't started any camp activities yet. Spencer claims he finally fixed it, but of course, the corner of the counter breaks off again. Classic. And honestly, they missed an opportunity to have the countertop corner catch on fire when Spencer failed to fix it. Back at Nora's, the gang starts broadcasting an episode of iCarly and tells anyone who was invited by Nora to come on over to the party. Meanwhile, Spencer is undrilling the countertop to lay it on its side so he can reattach the corner that way. He asks for Gibby's help to lift the countertop, and it snaps clean in half as soon as they try to lift it. At Nora's house, the plan actually works and kids start showing up to the party. Also, quick side note, this chicken actually drank some of the root beer. Bro was out there living his best life. Cockle-doodle-doo! One of the people who shows up to the party is actually Trina from Victorious, playing a different character, of course. She's clearly meant to be a cool, popular girl here, and honestly, I feel validated by this, because I always thought it was kind of bullshit how on Victorious they try so hard to portray her as this weird, gross, unattractive girl, when clearly she's a 10. Back at the apartment, Spencer and Gibby carry in a new granite countertop to replace the one they ripped in half.
Perfect.
That's a nice piece.
Thanks. Now all I gotta do is take this drill.
Gibby then bursts into tears, and the laugh track goes off. What? So when he says he's gonna go watch reruns of an old sitcom, the live audience goes, "Aww," but when he starts to cry, they laugh? Okay. But on the bright side, Nora's party is absolutely bumping. The party is so lit, in fact, that Nora straight up sexually assaults Trina. She forcefully kisses her against her will without consent, and there should be some repercussions for that. Also, Carly, Sam, and Freddie are just standing around vibing. Why are they even still here? They were supposed to stay for only 20 minutes, which it's already been way longer, and they've already accomplished their goal. They wanted to brighten this sad girl's day by meeting her because she's such a big fan, and hopefully get some of the kids from her school to show up at the party. Mission accomplished to both of those. The end. Freaking leave. But back at the apartment, Spencer and Gibby are trying to move the granite countertop for some reason, and they end up slamming it into the support column of the apartment. It ends up cracking the ceiling, and soon the apartment will become uninhabitable at this rate. Everyone starts leaving Nora's party after having a great time, and Trina even invites Nora to get mani-pedis with all the girls next weekend before leaving. Carly, Sam, and Freddie are literally the last ones there. For no reason. They finally tell Nora they're leaving, and she takes them downstairs to the basement to get their luggage. While down there, they notice a recording studio.
Why do you have this?
Oh, my dad's in the jingle business.
Nora said this is the recording studio her dad uses for work. Why does it have a lock on the outside of the door? That's straight up a fire hazard, and in no way is it necessary for the work of a sound engineer. So yeah, Nora leaves them locked up inside the recording booth and also reveals that she took all their phones somehow? She says she can't let them leave because this is the first time she's ever been cool before, and she can't go back to having no friends. Except Trina literally fucking invited Nora to go get mani-pedis next weekend without the iCarly crew having to be there.
Hey, next weekend a bunch of us girls are gonna get mani-pedis. You wanna come? Oh, yes.
So that doesn't really make a lick of goddamn sense. Sam tries to bust down the glass and says that she feels like she's back in juvie, but that glass is like me the one time I got interrogated by the cops. It ain't cracking. I also have to point out that Carly seems very calm, even though we know from the I Space Out episode that she's claustrophobic and freaks out in tight spaces. The next scene starts with Nora coming down the stairs and saying good morning to the iCarly gang. So they spent all night locked in there? Do none of them have to pee or take a shit? Like, I'm sorry to bring it up, but that's just the reality. In fact, when Freddy first goes over the Webicon itinerary with Carly at the beginning of the episode, she asks when they're gonna pee.
And cab it back to the hotel, getting there by 8:05. Then we check
When
into
do we
our-
go to the bathroom?
But apparently, now peeing isn't an issue. Carly tells Nora that people are going to notice they're missing, but Nora has that all figured out already.
When our families don't hear from us, they're gonna call the cops.
Yeah, the cops!
Which is why I used your cell phones to text message your families and tell them everything's going just fine.
Look, you're telling me that Carly, Sam, and Freddy all leave their phones unlocked without a password? I've actually never met one single person who has an iPhone with no password lock on it. It's ridiculous. Back at the apartment, Spencer wakes Gibby up in the morning for camp.
Gibby! Hey, Gibby, wake up!
He starts to read off the schedule he put together for him, but Gibby notices that Spencer snuck in rewire the light fixture to the daily activities list, and he's not impressed. Spencer cuts a wire that causes the overhead lamp to then crash down, and Gibby just goes back into his garbage tent. Back in Nora's basement, the crew asks for food, and Nora says she'll only give them food if Freddy kisses her through the glass. Freddy doesn't want to do it, so Sam grabs his head and forces him. I'm not sure whether this counts as sexual assault, but it's gotta be traumatizing nonetheless. Back at the apartment, Gibby's mom drops off his little brother, Guppy, and this episode just went up a whole level. This is Guppy's first real appearance on iCarly, and I love that he gets such a big episode as his introduction. He's gotta be one of the cutest little kids I've ever seen. Gibby's mom runs off without saying hi to Spencer, which is a funny callback to a previous episode when they briefly dated.
Now what's wrong?
Gibby lit.
Gibby runs off to use the loo, and Spencer returns thinking that Gibby has been shrunk.
What did they do to you?
Back in Nora's basement, the crew is eating Chinese food when Carly gets an idea. She asks Nora for some sauce, and when she reaches in to give it to her, Carly grabs Nora's arm and starts slamming her against the wall. And straight up, that seems like an idea that Sam would have tried, but okay, Carly, I see you. Nora runs back upstairs to get some cool stuff to show them all, and as soon as she leaves, Sam uses a duck bone she chewed on to pick the door's lock. It works, and they make a break for the stairs, when Nora appears in a Richard Nixon mask with a fake hatchet, so they all run back screaming into the sound booth? What the hell, guys? Split up and run in different directions, maybe? Fucking shove Nora down the stairs and break her neck? Stab her with the sharpened duck bone that Sam just had? I don't know. Anything except run back back into the prison cell. So they all get locked up again, and the last 1 minute of screen time was entirely pointless. So Carly comes up with another idea and lies to Nora about it being Gibby's birthday so they can send him a birthday video with a secret code hidden inside of it. Back at the apartment, Gibby finds a note from Spencer saying that he went out to get some DIY supplies. So Gibby decides to check his emails. When he sees the happy birthday V-mail from Carly, Sam, and Freddie, he instantly knows something is up since it's not his birthday. And I really vividly remember the beginning of the birthday V-mail.
We're always together every 4th of July.
Every 4th.
Word.
Every 4th.
Word.
That video message was something I truly never forgot ever since first seeing it. Gibby pretty much instantly realizes that he needs to specifically listen to every 4th word in the video, and props to Guppy for also helping him crack the case. They are an iconic duo. Gibby edits the video message to play only the 4th word.
The
Crazy. Girl. Trapped. Us. Please save us.
And honestly, Gibby could have just simply written down every 4th word. He didn't have to edit the actual video clips. So Gibby and Guppy catch a train to Olympia, and this time we see some real footage of a train going to Olympia instead of that CGI-looking train bullshit from before. So that means they did have B-roll footage of a real train, so maybe the shitty CGI train wasn't CGI? Or maybe it was just unnecessary. And to be honest, I don't know how Gibby got this girl's address, or even how he knows who Nora is. He wasn't there when the iCarly crew watched the initial V-mail from Nora, so he shouldn't know who she is or where she lives. When Gibby and Guppy roll up to Nora's house, Gibby rings the doorbell and politely asks Nora if Carly, Sam, and Freddie are trapped there.
I was wondering, do you have Carly, Sam, and Freddie trapped here?
No, there's no one in my basement.
I didn't say anything about your basement.
So Gibby realizes it's confirmed his friends are trapped there, and he gets to fucking business and takes charge of the situation. Gibby and Nora start beating the shit out of each other, and this is hands down the best scene of the entire episode. I love that it constantly switches between the two actors and two fully grown stunt doubles the entire battle. And I love that Guppy just stands there for moral support, saying, "Happy birthday!"
Happy birthday!
And look at this. I mean, Nora straight up attempted murder right here. She is racking up felonies in this episode, from sexual assault to kidnapping to false imprisonment, and now finally, attempted murder? They tussle for a while, and it's actually a pretty long, extended scene of them fighting. Eventually, they take the battle down to the basement, and Gibby starts low-key losing the fight. You hate to see it. And he even starts bleeding. But before things can take an even bloodier turn, Gibby rips his shirt off and goes full beast mode. He slams Nora against the wall and they start rolling around on the floor. And while they're busy throwing down, at last our hero of the episode, Guppy, comes down the stairs. He gets Nora's keys and frees the iCarly crew. They all rush over to help Gibby, and Sam does the fake elbow squeeze pass out move that Quinn does all the time on Zoe 101.
Oh, getting sleepy. Feeling.
Which successfully knocks Nora out cold on the floor. They all hug and celebrate for about 1.5 seconds, and then we get an abrupt cut back to the apartment with the entire crew roasting weenies on an open fire. Yeah, an open fire. Indoors. On a wooden floor. Spencer is trying to smoke everyone out and single-handedly burn down the entire apartment complex. Also, Freddie's shirt says foot candy. I'm upset by it, but coming from Dan Schneider, I guess that catchphrase would make sense because bro definitely sucks on some toes like they're lollipops. Spencer tells Carly he decided to pay someone to fix all of the expensive damage he caused in their apartment, and Carly says she feels bad for calling the cops on Nora. Carly, what? I'm actually a little mad we didn't get to see Nora get arrested on screen. She obviously deserves to be in jail or at least a mental hospital, and for Carly to feel bad about that is crazy. Gibby recommends they all sing a campfire song.
100 cartons of milk on the wall, 100 cartons of milk.
The exact one that Nora was singing earlier.
99 cartons of milk on the wall, 99 cartons of milk.
And rather than reacting with PTSD from their recent trauma, the kidnapping survivors happily sing along without a care in the world. So yeah, when the episode ends, Carly still feels unresolved regret about calling the cops on a 16-year-old girl who just wanted some friends. Ouch. So let's actually stop and think about the many crimes that were committed by Nora in this episode. Kissing Trina without consent, that's sexual assault. Trapping the iCarly gang in a recording studio is considered kidnapping and false imprisonment. Stealing all 3 of their cell phones is theft of personal property. Texting every one of the kids' family members pretending to be the kids, that's definitely identity theft. Withholding food from Freddy unless he performs an intimate act against his will is definitely sexual coercion. And finally, she grabbed the fire poker during the fight with Gibby, which escalated the fight from an assault to an attempted murder with a deadly weapon. And after all of that, we don't get to see Nora get arrested on screen? And she gets out of juvie in a later episode? Unacceptable. But honestly, before Nora committed all these atrocities, she just came across as a lonely girl with no friends. What exactly is the message here, Nickelodeon? Don't be nice to the weird kid? There's probably a good reason that everyone stays away from them? I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with that message, but it is an interesting message for a show aimed at children, to say the least. But hey, all criminal records aside, this episode was pretty funny, even all these years later. I had a great time rewatching it, and I'm excited to look at the sequel episode in the future, I Still Psycho. iPsycho was one of the most insane episodes of iCarly ever. It got huge ratings, with 7.5 million people tuning in to watch. And according to Dirty Dan Schneider himself, whenever he heard from fans, they would often bring up this episode and mention it being their favorite. So it's no surprise that just a year and a half later, they dropped a sequel episode called I Still Psycho. And I, for one, find it disturbing that after the events of the first iPsycho episode, Nora is somehow back loose and walking the streets again a mere 18 months later. I Still Psycho premiered as an hour-long special on New Year's Eve in 2011, and while it didn't pull in as many viewers as the original episode, with 5.5 million tuning in to watch, it still did better than average compared to the other season 4 episodes of iCarly. So I guess people thought there was no better way to kick off a new year than by revisiting a psychotic, deranged criminal from the past. Even though this originally aired as an hour-long special, it's currently on Paramount Plus as a 2-parter, and part 1 ends off on a cliffhanger, with the iCarly gang realizing they've once again been captured by Nora. So I was excited to see how everything wrapped up in part 2. But part 1 ended with a sneak peek for part 2 of I Still Psycho, and yeah, let's just say it was a little more than a peek.
Next on iCarly.
Spencer!
Now I gotta get to the cops.
They're literally spoiling everything! The entire plot from start to finish. And if they're able to summarize part 2 within 60 seconds, why would I want to spend 25 minutes of my life watching that plot unfold? Who approved this promo? I'm goddamn pissed, but you know what? Despite having the entire second half of the special spoiled for me, I'm still gonna watch it and cover this episode for you guys. If you like this video, please be sure to throw us a like and maybe subscribe. And as always, if you have any other episodes or shows you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. All right, let's dive in. The episode starts off with an iCarly skit, which ends abruptly because Sam didn't write an ending for the skit like she was supposed to.
Supposed to come up with an ending?
But she didn't.
I did not.
See you next time on the web, worldwide, except for Yerba, where they have no freedom.
Lighten up, Yerba.
Come on!
And fun fact, Yerba is actually the fictional island country the Victorious gang visits in the episode Locked Up. Spencer says he's gonna go soak his feet in some milk, which is not funny, and I really hate all the unnecessary foot references Dirty Dan constantly makes on his shows. Once he's gone, the kids all get an email informing them that Nora Dershlit is scheduled for a parole hearing next week, and I think this is the first time we hear Gibby's full government name.
Olympia Municipal Courthouse?
To Carly Shea, Samantha Puckett, Fredward Benson, and Orenthal Gibson.
That Gibby?
I guess.
The theme song plays, and it has Happy New Year's saved as one of the bookmarks since this episode did premiere on December 31st. Cut to Spencer actually soaking his feet in milk. I was really hoping that was just a weird throwaway line, and they wouldn't actually make him do it on camera, but there it is. And I bet Dan suckled his toes right after this.
Got milk.
Carly says they all have to go to Olympia to speak at Nora's parole hearing to make sure that psycho doesn't get released from prison. And it's kind of surprising Carly feels this way, because at the end of iPsycho, Carly is the one who says she feels guilty for calling the cops on Nora.
Maybe we shouldn't have called the cops on Nora.
She kidnapped us.
Yeah, but she just wanted friends. And she bought us Chinese food.
She'll have plenty of friends in prison.
But this time around, Sam has a little more sympathy since she's done some time in the slammer herself.
Maybe they should let her go.
What? Why?
Look, I've been in prison. It is not fun in there.
Then Tebow comes up the elevator and has to change into a proper suit because he's been staying with Freddie and Miss Benson and has to pretend to be a proper gentleman, or else Miss Benson would never let him live with them. Gibby enters and the live audience breaks into applause just upon seeing him.
Gibby!
And I agree with the audience. He's objectively the best character, and this is the respect he deserves. He shows the others an exact replica of his head that he got made at the mall, and later in the final episode of the series, you actually get to see the machine at the mall where he got his head made. The other kids tell him about Nora's parole hearing, and Gibby has a very forgiving attitude and thinks it's great that she's gonna be released. But Carly says, no, we are going to that hearing, and we're gonna tell the court that she can't be released from prison. And it's kind of wild that Carly thinks she gets to decide for everyone and tell the whole group how to feel. Cut to Spencer hanging out with his girlfriend because he randomly just has a girlfriend in this episode who's never seen again after this episode? Okay. Tebow barges in and interrupts his date to demand to use Spencer's shower because Miss Benson has no hot water and only believes in warm water. He eats Spencer's spaghetti taco without permission, and yeah, Tebow is a jerk. Cut to the parole hearing where Nora tells the judge how terribly sorry she is for kidnapping the iCarly gang. And when it's the victim's turn to speak, Carly starts to say that consequences are important, but Nora keeps moaning, which cuts her off every time she tries to speak.
Without consequences, a person never learns to...
For some reason, these moans convince Carly to have a change of heart, and she says, just let her go. And that's it. Nobody else speaks, even though Sam, Freddie, and Gibby are there too. Their opinions don't fucking matter. And I can't help but notice there's a sign right behind Nora that says no food or drinks, but clearly everyone has a drink right in front of them. What's the point of the fucking sign then? The judge says that since Nora has had a pathetic life, and since the victims are forgiving, the court will take pity on her and release her immediately. And now would be a good time for the iCarly kids to bounce and make sure they have restraining orders in place now that Nora is back on the loose. But instead of doing that, they agree to go to Nora's house for a weird Norwegian supper coming home party thing. Are they slow? Before they leave, a security guard comes around asking if anyone has seen his taser.
Hey, anybody here see my taser?
Sam?
Oh, was this your taser?
First of all, that's pretty unfortunate considering the events that are about to unfold in this episode. That would have been real nice for Sam to have. Second, that security guard should probably be fired. How did he not notice someone pickpocketing his taser? What if bro was strapped and someone took his gun? Back with Spencer, he's about to play a new video game with his girlfriend when Tebow barges in on them again to complain about Miss Benson. I gotta say it, Tebow is in the wrong here. He should show some gratitude for Miss Benson. She opened her home to him, and instead, all he does is bitch. He also hits on Spencer's girlfriend right in front of him, which is very disrespectful.
What is your name again? You are fine.
He knows that is Spencer's girl considering he barged in on them making out in the last scene, so what's Tebow's deal? Also, in I, Goodbye, Tebow tells Carly he likes hefty women.
I don't date little short girls. I like a woman with some heft. You know, some meat on her.
So it's kinda weird that he's into Spencer's non-hefty girlfriend, right? Miss Benson shows up and tells Tebow that she has to go to her sister's house and asks him to keep an eye on the apartment tonight while she's gone. As soon as she leaves, Tebow invites Spencer and his girlfriend over so they can play the video game over there. And Spencer is completely down for the group video game session, even though his girlfriend wants some alone time.
Why don't we let him play over there and you and I could play over here?
Oh, the game's over there!
Is Spencer a virgin? Back at Nora's house, we get some member berries to the original iPsycho episode.
Hey, Nora, remember when your clown had an aneurysm?
Yes. Poor Cramps.
They go over to the buffet spread and describe some of the Norwegian foods, and I gotta be honest, the descriptions of some of this shit sounded so disgusting and nasty.
Well, we have lutefisk.
Lutefisk.
It's dried codfish soaked in a lye solution for several days.
That's nauseating.
That I assumed it was all fake, but I looked it up, and lutefisk is actually real. It's actually Norwegian, and it's actually dried cod soaked in a lye solution like they're describing. I'm not happy about this, and I'm sorry to any Norwegians out there. I'm sorry. Back at Freddy's apartment, Miss Benson forgot something, so she comes through the door and catches Tebow being rowdy and playing video games with Spencer and his girlfriend. Why did Tebow change into his groovy smoothie uniform to chill and play video games with friends? I can understand not wanting to stay in the suit. I get it, but why a work uniform when he clearly does not have a shift right now? Tebow's finally had enough and confesses he's not fancy, he doesn't wear suits, and even reveals that nobody calls him Terrence and that he only goes by Tebow. Miss Benson is shocked and appalled and tells him to get the hell out. And honestly, I'm on her side. He disrespected her and lied to her. Get his ass out of here. Spencer shows up at Nora's house to take the kids home, and he says he desperately has to pee. So Nora's mom takes him down to the basement. You know, the same basement they were kidnapped and held hostage in the first time they were here. The iCarly kids thank Nora for dinner, and Carly says, well, I guess this is goodbye. And Nora says, yeah, you dumb bitch. No, it's not.
I guess this is goodbye.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, we really gotta get back.
Yeah, but you're not gonna.
Carly and Sam try to get through the door, but it's locked. Sam tries to bust open a window, but Nora reveals that the windows have been replaced by maxi glass, the same glass used on Nora's dad's studio from the original iPsycho, fun fact. Sam says, okay, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you then, you dumb hoe. But Nora reveals they have Spencer trapped on a torture wheel down in the basement, and if anyone tries to harm Nora or her mother, they'll rotate the wheel to torture him. Okay, couple of problems here. First one, when Nora's mom led Spencer down to the basement, how the hell did she get him strapped into the wheel? Did he hold still and just act obedient and let her do it? Because it makes no sense for a middle-aged lady to be able to physically overpower Spencer, force him into that position, and strap him in limb by limb, one by one. How the hell could she have done that? Second, Nora uses this spinning wheel as a threat to keep them from attacking. But to prove her point, she demonstrates by spinning the wheel. That means she's already doing the thing that she threatened to do. She can't do anything worse. It's already worst case scenario right this second. So why not just beat her ass and grab the remote? So part one ends with Spencer spinning around helplessly on the wheel of doom, as Freddy's voiceover says, next on iCarly.
Next on iCarly.
And literally the entirety of part two is completely spoiled. But since I've already complained about that, we're just gonna dive right into part two. Let's go. So part 2 starts off right where part 1 left off, with Spencer spinning on the wheel of doom. That should be their cue to beat Nora's ass, but instead, Carly just calls her a nutcase. Sam points out that they're the ones who got her out of prison in the first place, and Nora says, true, but you guys also tainted the memory of my 16th birthday. So now we're gonna untaint it. And I just know Dirty Dan was chuckling to himself when he made this young actress repeatedly say the word taint.
You tainted the memory of my 16th birthday party! So now, we're going to undo the taint.
Sam irritates Nora by calling her chicken stupid, and I do gotta point out that her chicken, Maurice, is clearly a hen, not a rooster. So basically, she has a girl chicken named Maurice. Okay. Nora starts spinning Spencer on the wheel again until Sam apologizes to the chicken, and then Nora stops the wheel again once she's satisfied. She then forces everyone to put on party hats. Why? The goal is recreating the original birthday party, right?
You tainted the memory of my 16th birthday party! So now, we're going to undo the taint.
And nobody wore party hats in the first iPsycho episode at her 16th birthday party. Not a single goddamn person. Gibby says they should just take the remote away from Nora, and she says, bad idea, because if any of you make a sudden move for me, I'll hit the special red button on the remote that makes Spencer spin at top speed until his brain turns to goo. I also can't help but notice there's a slideshow of pictures from the original birthday party displayed on the TV. There was nobody taking pictures. They're literally just stills from the episode, which should not canonically exist within the iCarly universe. Whatever though. Nora leaves the room and Sam whips out her butter sock to use as a weapon against Nora when she comes back in the room. And this marks the third appearance of Sam's butter sock after I Take on Dingo and I Party with Victorious, which is kinda crazy to me. I remember Sam's butter sock being a massive part of iCarly. To me, it's one of the most iconic things on the show, so I really have a hard time believing how little it was utilized throughout the series. It's kinda crazy. Gibby suddenly has an idea.
Hey, I know how Santa Claus would get out of here.
Oh, the chimney!
No, on a reindeer.
So they decide to use Gibby's replica head to make it look like he's napping on the couch, while the real Gibby climbs up the chimney to escape. Nora and her mom come back in with a cake, even though there was no cake at the original party, and they are really trash at recreating this party. And after Nora blows out the candles, she sexually assaults Freddy, kissing him against his will. And listen to how the live studio audience reacts to Freddy, a main character, being sexually assaulted.
That Freddy is gonna get kissed.
What? Those aren't the lyrics. I don't want. Oh, come on!
This is not an ooh moment. This is assault. Back at Miss Benson's apartment, she tries to kick Tebow out, but he remembers he has a lease and a right to be there. But Miss Benson shreds it, and it's kind of funny that she keeps a paper shredder right in the living room. Back at Nora's, Gibby somehow makes it to the top of the chimney with his arms completely down by his side. How in the world would this work? What are the physics of that? Did he climb up vertically, like without his arms, like wiggling like a worm? Gibby realizes he's basically stuck at the top of the chimney, and that's that. Back inside the house, Nora insists everyone eats some of her birthday cake, including Gibby, causing her to realize it's not the real Gibby, and in fact, just the replica head.
Now Gibby will eat some cake. Wakey, wakey, time for cakey.
So after threatening to once again sexually assault Freddy, Nora turns back on the wheel of doom to keep torturing Spencer. The iCarly boys are really the punching bags for all of Nora's wrath. I mean, come on, Carly's just there, and all Sam had to do was apologize to a chicken. Cut to Carly waking up. I guess it's the next day, and Sam, Carly, and Freddy all slept in jeans? Kinda crazy. Why not just try to escape all night? Why accept your fate? We also see that Gibby is still stuck at the top of the fireplace, and he's basically useless. Nora points out to them that Gibby has already been gone for 12 hours and hasn't rescued them yet, so it's unlikely he'll be saving their asses this time like he did last time. Nora's dad pops up out of nowhere, and the kids try telling him that his daughter and wife are psychotic and ask him for help.
It's been a living nightmare.
Well, that's terrible.
Correcto.
Nora, this is supposed to be a party. A birthday party that will go on forever and ever. and ever.
And okay, did they really think this man was unaware that his wife and daughter are big old creeps? Of course he knew. Of course he's a creep too. Gibby calls down to some kids for help, and they recognize him from iCarly. But for some reason, instead of helping him, they throw tennis balls at his face. Nora keeps spinning Spencer on the wheel, and surely he's peed his pants by now. He said it was an emergency when he first arrived over 12 hours ago. Disgusting. Freddy realizes that he still has a tracking chip in his head that his mom could use to rescue them. And this is the same tracking chip that was mentioned in I Go to Japan. I don't know if it happened in a different episode, but in I Go to Japan, Freddy's mom specifically hides the tracking chip from him, and he never finds out that it was in his head during the episode. So for him to be aware of the chip in this episode's pretty weird.
How'd you find us?
Oh, Mrs. Benson had a chip. Chippewa. She had a Chippewa Indian show us the way.
The chip.
What chip?
The one my mom had surgically installed in my head when I was a toddler.
Sam tries assaulting Freddy to set off the emergency distress signal,
Mrs. Benson, help us!
and Freddy says they need to electrically short it out somehow. Sam says they could use the electric shock pen she stole from Spencer. Why the hell did Spencer have that?
No. Let Carly do it.
Why?
Because Carly cares about me. At least she'll try to be gentle. She won't just take the thing and stick it.
Sam then shocks him again when he's already unconscious on the floor. Back at Miss Benson's apartment, Tebow lets himself in and says he just needs to grab a few of his things and then he'll be leaving.
1 sec, I gotta get my shampoo out of the bathroom.
No! Just go buy some more!
I bought that in Jamaica. You can't even get it here.
It doesn't really make that much sense for Tebow to have left his shampoo in the bathroom, because in part 1 he goes over to Spencer's apartment to take a shower and says he can't shower at Miss Benson's because she doesn't have hot water.
I need to use your shower.
Why can't you shower at your place?
Because Miss Benson don't believe in hot water. So all they have is a warm water heater.
Miss Benson gets the alert about Freddy's distress signal from his head chip, and I have to ask, did she get a replacement remote? Because in I Go to Japan, Spencer loses the remote by dropping it out of a moving car. Tebow offers to give Miss Benson a ride on his motorcycle because it'll be quicker, and she accepts. And honestly, I wish we would have got to see that. I'd love to see Miss Benson whipping through traffic on the back of a motorcycle. Sounds kinda dope. Back at Nora's, a disturbing forced game of pin the tail on Nora's actual ass is occurring.
Do it, Freddy. Get it on there good.
Who plays pin the tail on the birthday girl?
Yeah, and why is she wearing the blindfold?
You're a weirdo, Dirty Dan. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Sam screams, "Let us out!" Nora and her parents start to do this creepy forever and ever chant again, when suddenly Tebow and Miss Benson bust through the door on a motorcycle. What? First of all, Sam was just at the door literally 10 seconds ago. They came so close to killing her. Second, in the first iPsycho episode, we see the exterior of Nora's house, and I don't think this motorcycle stunt would have really been physically possible. There's stairs leading up to her front door, and I'm almost certain that going that speed and hitting some stairs would have caused them to flip right off the bike and break their necks. Miss Benson hugs Freddy, and the Dershowitz starts spinning Spencer on the wheel again in retaliation. And finally, Sam beats the shit out of Nora. Why could this not have been done 15 hours ago? But better late than never, I guess. Tebow easily kicks down the door to the basement. Again, awesome, badass, but why couldn't Gibby have done that 15 hours ago? He broke down the front door of the entire house in the first iPsycho episode, but he never even tried busting down the basement door in this one. And for that matter, Sam is seen busting down an entire door in the later episode I Bust a Thief. So why couldn't she have tried busting down the door to the basement in the same way? So Carly unplugs the wheel to get Spencer to stop spinning, and she's lucky it just so happened to stop with him right side up, I guess. Tebow starts fighting with Nora's dad, and Sam goes to fight Nora and her mom. But they have the fireplace pokers as weapons, just like Nora in the first one when she tried to murder Gibby. So Miss Benson decides to intervene in a way that cannot be described with words.
You girls want a little taste of a Benson?
And fun fact, this is the first time the Fenton Bensons are mentioned ever since the original iFence episode, which was all the way back in season 1. Miss Benson stands on business and fights them both off at once, and it's pretty impressive, and a good payoff for this episode, honestly. The long fight scene between Gibby and Nora in the original iPsycho is pretty iconic, and I honestly thought it would be a tough act to follow, but watching Miss Benson kick some ass with those swords is probably just as good. Miss Benson tells Tebow that he's no longer kicked out since he helped save Freddy, and he can continue to rent the room out of Miss Benson's apartment for $400 a month. Sam stabs both Nora and her parents with the shock pen, and Nora's chicken Maurice stands on top of her unconscious body just like he did in the original iPsycho episode after the fight with Gibby.
You and your freak parents are going to prison. Forever and ever and ever.
Except, not really though, because apparently there's a Sam and Cat episode called Super Psycho where she returns again. Although, to be fair, I've never seen that one, so maybe she's in prison during that episode. I don't know. Maybe I'll review it one day. Cut back to Carly and Spencer's apartment, where Spencer tells his dad on the phone that everyone's fine, and Nora and her parents have been arrested. It happened off screen again? I'm pissed! So we didn't get to see Nora get dragged off in handcuffs in either episode. Whatever. Suddenly, Carly jolts awake in bed and screams, "Gibby!" And yep, they forgot him. He's still in the chimney. Why didn't the cops see him when they arrested Nora and her parents? Did he just sit there in silence? Why didn't he scream down to them for help? Why are these kids still throwing tennis balls at him during a rainstorm? So many questions. Poor Gibby. And there you have it. So the message in the first iPsycho was, don't be nice to the weird kid because they might kidnap you. And the message in I Still Psycho is, don't forgive people. They don't change. And honestly, who hurt you, Dan? But actually, this is a pretty banger follow-up episode to one of the most memorable plots in the entire iCarly series. The scene at the end with Tebow and Miss Benson kicking some ass was a solid 10 out of 10. My really only complaint is that, just like in the original episode, we never get to see Nora get arrested. And also, they do Gibby so dirty in this episode. In the original iPsycho, he gets to be the hero and burst through the door and fight Nora and take her down like a total badass. But in this one, all he does is get stuck in a chimney. He doesn't bust down any doors, even though he has proven door-busting abilities, and he doesn't get to fight Nora or do anything cool. Plus, he gets forgotten about at the end and left in the goddamn chimney. To this day, it's unclear how they even got him out. I get why they didn't want to just repeat the same ending as the first episode, and I guess Gibby coming to the rescue again would have been too much of the same, but still, I wish they hadn't made him seem so completely useless, because that was just kind of upsetting to watch as a Gibby fan. There's also no Guppy in this episode, and I thought he added a nice charm to the original iPsycho episode, so it's a little disappointing. But it was fun seeing Nora be all crazy again. I appreciated the return of the chicken, and like I said, Miss Benson going all Fenton Benson at the end really makes the whole episode for me. But if I had to choose, the original iPsycho episode still has this one beat, I think. In iPsycho, crazed lunatic Nora Dershlit kidnaps Carly, Sam, and Freddy and holds them hostage in her basement before getting a beatdown by Gibby and then arrested for her crimes. In I Still Psycho, she gets released from prison and kidnaps the entire iCarly crew again, while this time throwing in Gibby and Spencer to the list of hostages. Till Miss Benson shows up, stands on business, and channels her inner Fenton Benson, leading to Nora being arrested once again. Those are Nora's only 2 appearances on iCarly, but the Dan Schneider universe wasn't done with her just yet, because a few short years after I Still Psycho, she would appear again, this time on the Sam and Cat episode, #Super Psycho. And I've never actually seen a full episode of Sam and Cat before, but since I covered the first 2 episodes involving Nora and her psycho shenanigans, I feel it's only right to continue the Psycho saga by watching this one too. So today we're taking a look at Super Psycho, the 3rd and final episode of the iPsycho Trilogy featuring crazy Nora Dershlit. Although she did appear as a very minor cameo character in episode 2 of the iCarly reboot as well. It just wasn't a Psycho episode. And since this is my first time watching Sam and Cat, I'm also going to complain about some of the things I dislike about the show as a whole. And this show absolutely floored me. Things are going to get pretty heated, so buckle up. As always, if you guys like this video, please be sure to give us a like and maybe even subscribe. I might just take a shot of orange juice mixed with toothpaste, if you do. If you have any other episodes of Sam and Cat you want me to cover, or any other shows you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Alright, let's dive in. So this is hashtag Super Psycho. Why is it a hashtag? Why are all the episodes named with hashtags? I don't get it. Victorious was the show that had the characters constantly tweeting, and Sam and Cat doesn't have an internet theme at all, as far as I'm aware. So we start off with Sam watching boxing on TV, and some little kid next to her keeps bringing up member berries from iCarly.
Remember the time on the iCarly web show when you played the cowboy who talked to the idiot farm girl? Remember Gibby?
A gibber. Remember?
Sam talks about Gibby, references the I Go to Japan episode and meeting the First Lady Michelle Obama, and of course, mentions being kidnapped multiple times by Nora Dershlit. And quick sidebar, these girls are mean babysitters. Sam threatens to slap the kid across the face with his own pants, and Kat also tells him to shut up. I kind of expect that from Sam, but isn't Kat supposed to be dumb but nice?
Bobby loved watching you on the iCarly web show, so you should answer his questions.
Hey, Cat.
Shut up, I'm busy.
Cut to Nora in prison as she's working out while looking at her revenge mood board of the iCarly gang. Suddenly, there's some scratching at the door, and the prison guard lady goes to investigate. And, oh, it's Maurice the chicken. How did the chicken get inside the prison? Who let the chicken in? How did Nora communicate with the chicken to plan this breakout in the first place? Now that is an episode I'd love to see. Maurice on the loose. Nora attacks the cop with a bucket and takes her ass down. And then we cut back to Kat, who's soaking some apples in cranberry juice to make crapples.
Well, I love cranberry juice, and my favorite fruit is apples. So I filled this fish tank up with cranberry juice, and I'm soaking the apples in it. I'm making crapples.
And I gotta ask, why is Kat talking like that?
My favorite fruit is apples.
I've seen Victorious, and the character did not talk like that at all.
Andre, you want to help me put monster makeup on Tori's face?
Bye.
Cut back to Nora, who's done assaulting the cop and escapes with the chicken through a vent. And did she kill that cop? The body actually violently twitches after being knocked out, and she's never seen again. Seems like a fucking death to me. And then we get the honest-to-God worst theme song I have ever heard in my entire life up to this point. I'm actually baffled. 10 seconds after it was over, I already couldn't remember the actual song whatsoever. All I could remember was how absolutely trash it was. And forget about the sound for a second. Forget about the assault on my eardrum. The visuals are gross too. It's one of the worst looking intros I have ever seen on a Nickelodeon show. I would have not wanted to release that if I made that. I wouldn't have been happy with that as the final product. And here is the goddamn problem. The theme song being terrible is actually inexcusable because this show stars Ariana fucking Grande. For iCarly, Miranda Cosgrove sang the theme song. For Victorious, Victoria Justice sang the theme song. For Drake and Josh, Drake Bell sang the damn theme song. And you're telling me, with the best singer ever to appear on Nickelodeon, objectively, it's the one time they didn't have the main actor sing the goddamn theme song? Trash. Pure trash. After that abomination of a theme song, Kat sees on the news that Nora Dershlit broke out of prison, which she never brings up at all. She doesn't react to it. She doesn't mention it to Sam. Why was Kat even watching the news? A kid with bushy hair named Dice shows up and says he'll be staying there all weekend. And he was in the terrible intro sequence, so I guess he's just one of the kids they babysit all the time. Sam comes into the house wearing a penny tee, yet another reference to iCarly, and we're not even 5 minutes in. which makes me just wish I was watching iCarly in the first place. Cut to a movie theater where we see Gibby and his girlfriend, and fun fact, since he does not return for the iCarly reboot series, this is the last ever appearance of Gibby in any episode of any show in the iCarly universe. Press F to pay respects for Gibby. Nora Dershowitz sits next to him and says hi, and in true Gibby fashion, he tells her it's good to see her and that she looks great.
Wait, I thought you were in prison for a couple more years.
Right. I was supposed to be, but 2 days ago I escaped.
Wow, yeah, good for you.
Nora then openly tells Gibby that she wants to track down Carly, Sam, and Freddie to hurt each one of them, to which Gibby responds, well, Carly is far away in Italy, but Sam lives close by, and offers to give Nora Sam's address, knowing her goal is to track Sam down and seek revenge. Okay, why on earth would he help Nora get revenge on Sam? Look, I know it's for laughs, and that Gibby is supposed to be dumb or whatever, but in the first ever iPsycho episode, Gibby is the one who bravely rescues Carly, Sam, and Freddie, and even fights Nora in an iconic battle scene in order to save his friends. So this is a pretty insulting downgrade for his character to go from hero to literally helping out the bad guy harm his own friends. I'm fucking pissed. Cut to some weird restaurant where the waiters are robots for some reason. Nora sits at a table right near Sam while wearing a creepy disguise. Sam loudly talks about how much she loves the kid Dice for getting her a fake Mexican ID, and Nora overhears it.
I tell you, I'd be lost without this little fuzzy-headed mop face.
Well, it seems that Sam Puckett is quite fond of the young boy with the glorious hair.
And I gotta point out, this kid's hair is repeatedly called amazing in this episode. I recall Chase had the same hair on Zoe 101 and was frequently mocked for it.
Hey, Fuzzyhead.
Hey, now you promised not to call me Fuzzyhead anymore.
Curly Sue?
And now I'm liking Fuzzyhead.
Interesting, since Dan Schneider created both shows. Clearly the culture changed in the 9 years between Zoe 101 and Sam and Cat, but justice for Chase, am I right? Bro was ahead of the curve. So Nora finds the kid Dice outside alone in a parking lot of bots and tricks him into climbing into her car, then slams the trunk closed, locking him in. And come on now, I know the past 2 episodes in the Nora Dershowitz saga have both involved kidnapping, but this one feels like kidnapping, you know, because it's an actual kid who has no idea who Nora even is. He doesn't know about the Nora iCarly beef, so to him, he might as well be getting kidnapped to be made into a sex slave or something. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Cut to Sam and Cat panicking because Dice is missing, when Gibby suddenly calls Sam to tell her that he got a new hat for his replica head, which was featured multiple times in the iCarly series, and I'm happy to see he's still taking good care of it. He then adds on, oh, by the way, Nora Dershowitz out of prison. She came to see me and said she wanted to destroy you, so I gave her your address. And that's it. Sam hangs up. She doesn't say, why the hell did you do that, Gibby? She doesn't ask for more details or anything. He doesn't offer to come help protect her, just nothing. End of conversation. Nora bangs on the door, but then runs away, leaving behind an envelope.
What's it say?
I have your friend, Dice.
Oh my...
In case you don't believe me, here's a little piece of him.
And it's kind of weird how the note didn't demand anything from them. It wasn't like, Sam, if you want to see your friend again, come face me. It just kind of stated that she had the kid, and that was it. Nora calls Sam on the phone, and right away, Sam asks, where's Dice? And Nora says, come on, Sam. Aren't you gonna ask me how it was in prison?
No. Hi, Nora. I've missed you. No. How was prison? No. Sorry for causing the social workers to send my chicken to a foster farm.
Look, if the chicken got sent away to a foster farm, how the hell did it traverse back to the prison to help Nora break out? Also, yeah, it makes sense that the chicken got sent away because at the end of iPsycho, both Nora and her parents got arrested for kidnapping. But now that Nora has broken loose, I notice she's made no mention or attempt at rescuing her parents at all. This cracker's just leaving her parents in their cells to rot. And if that was my kid, I wouldn't be happy. Nora says she's gonna shave the kid Dice's hair and make a wig out of his hair. And again, there's no demand or asking for ransom or anything. Nora just informs them that she's gonna do it. Sam says to find Nora, they're gonna have to think like a criminal mastermind. So they decide to go to a mental asylum to speak to another criminal mastermind. Despite Sam being sent to prison multiple times in iCarly, she's pretty much a criminal mastermind, but whatever. The episode then turns into a Silence of the Lambs spoof, which is kinda weird for a kid's show to reference a rated R horror movie that their target audience isn't old enough to have seen yet. As Sam and Kat walk down the hall of insane criminals, they pass by a Crazy Steve reference. It's clearly just a body double and not actually Jerry Tranner as Crazy Steve. And they reuse some old audio from Drake and Josh Really Big Shrimp too. They don't even record new lines.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow says boo! Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow says boo!
Quite frankly, this is more than disappointing. I wish they just didn't include this reference at all. Finally, they arrive at Neville's jail cell, our last big iCarly guest star for the episode. He parodies Hannibal Lecter by offering the girls some advice on how to catch Nora, since he's a big old creep himself, so he definitely knows how a creep would think. When they hand Neville the note from Nora through the glass, he grabs Sam's arm and screams, "Get me out of here!" Which is a throwback to the first iPsycho episode when they grab Nora's arm through the glass and scream at her to let them go. Neville tells them to look in an abandoned house to find Nora and Dice, and we get one of the only lines of dialogue to actually make me chuckle in this entire episode.
Look in those houses 3, and your friend Dice you shall see.
Oh my god, I think he's rapping.
Before the scene ends, Neville also criticizes the writers of iCarly for having gaps in the lore.
How come we never heard anything about Carly's mother?
All right.
Honestly, I've wondered the same thing myself, but whatever. Cut to the kid Dice down a well with some clackers? A great Drake and Josh reference, no doubt. But how did Nora get him trapped down in the well? Did she just throw him in? He could have cracked his damn skull open and died on the spot. How did she even find a well like this indoors? Just because a house is a bando doesn't mean there's a frickin' basement dungeon with an indoor well inside. I know it's another Silence of the Lambs reference, but I'm just not understanding the logistics of how Nora is pulling this all off. Kat comes to the door, and it's extremely obvious that these two are not actually talking to each other face to face right now, but are in fact using body doubles. In Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, great book by the way, she talks about how Ariana Grande was allowed to frequently miss days of filming and be absent from set when she had any other project going on for her music or whatnot, and I'm guessing this must have been one of those times. Nora claims to be Noreen and invites Kat to come see the basement, and she accepts. And the next shot is Kat falling to her death down the well. But luckily, she's somehow fine. And now the only problem is Nora says she's going to shave both their heads to make wigs out of their hair. Which, Kat already had her head shaved in Victoria, so this shouldn't really worry her that much. Suddenly, Sam enters with the chicken Maurice in her arms, and she threatens the chicken with a gruesome fate unless Nora agrees to let her friends go.
You throw a rope down.
Yeah.
So Kat and Dice can climb out of that pit, and I won't pluck, cook, eat, digest, and poop out this chicken.
And I don't like how she said it like that. I find the dialogue of this show overall to be very unpleasant so far. Nora says she has a better idea, and she proposes that Sam and her should fight. The stakes? If Sam wins the fight, her friends go free. But if Nora wins, Sam goes down in the well as well, for all of eternity, I guess? I don't know when they would be allowed to leave. Sam says, "I bet, let's fucking go," and asks Nora if she's ready to bleed. And not gonna lie, I'm kind of hyped. The first iPsycho ended with an epic fight scene between Nora and Gibby, and I thought there was no way they could possibly top that. And then the sequel episode, I Still Psycho, ended with Tebow busting into the house on his motorcycle and Freddy's mom going all fence and Benson and sword fighting their asses. So I kinda can't wait to see what's gonna go down in this scene between Nora and Sam, especially because Sam is such a badass and we've seen her go nuts on some hoes in the other iCarly episodes.
Set. Ah! No fair, grabbing my foot.
Oh, God, sorry.
You let go right now.
Okay.
What? That's it? You're telling me they ended both the previous Nora episodes with iconic long-ass fight sequences, then have the audacity to tease us about doing it again in the episode, then only give us that lame shit? No way. I'm pissed. Actually, I'm livid right now. Those were the best scenes in the other iPsycho episodes. They made the entire rest of the episode worth it. And in this one, we get nothing? We get blue balls? Why would they build it up to then not do it? They even started this episode off by showing Sam watching boxing on TV, reminding us that she loves violence. Only for there to be no fight? Gag me with a spoon, motherfucker. And not only was that the most anticlimactic fight scene ever at the end, but also, why was Sam cool with yeeting Nora directly on top of her friends? One of them being a child. Not only did Sam kick a dangerous kidnapper into a confined space with two of her best friends, she could have just simply crushed them with her body on the way down.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
I'm not fine!
Okay, whatever. We get a random quick scene of the insane asylum again, where Neville is broken out of his cell, completing his Hannibal Lecter arc. Nora gets arrested once again, and they say that she'll be in a maximum security prison this time, which she probably already should have been after the first episode, let alone the second time she got sent to prison, but okay. Sam gets a phone call from none other than Neville, who's hanging out with Gibby, and they say they're gonna eat some tapenade, which is a reference to the first ever episode Neville appeared in back in season 1 of iCarly.
I told you not to bring that thing.
Come on, let's go get some tapenade.
Ooh, all right.
I brought you crackers and some of my mother's homemade tapenade. Tapenade? It's a spread made of olives, garlic, and capers.
And that's it. Let me be honest, guys. Let me be clear. I'm never gonna get that 30 minutes of my life back. That was my first ever time watching Sam and Cat, and I gotta say, there's a reason I avoided the show my entire life. My instincts were correct on this one. That was bad. And not even so bad it's enjoyable or funny, just bad. Even though I liked all the references to iCarly, and even Drake and Josh, because I love both those shows, it's not a great sign that the show had to rely so much on references to other shows in order to come across as likable or entertaining. Hell, when it wasn't referencing iCarly or Drake and Josh, it was referencing The Silence of the Lambs. So you kind of walk away from this episode feeling like this show doesn't have an identity of its own to fall back on. And even from just this one episode alone, I can honestly see why. For a show called Sam and Cat, these two have absolutely no chemistry as leads. And if you're gonna make Sam and Cat the literal title of the show and base the entire premise around the two characters together, them not having chemistry is a massive problem. In fact, the only other show with a similar name is Drake and Josh, which features the duo with the best comedic chemistry on probably any Nickelodeon show ever. And iCarly also gave us some really fantastic moments between Carly and Sam. Their friendship felt very natural, and the way they played off each other added so much to the show. Here, there's none of that. It also feels very forced and fake, and even awkward between Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande, which is kind of disappointing since I've enjoyed both their performances in their original shows. I don't know if it's just all because of bad writing or because these two weren't really friends in real life, but it's a combo that just doesn't work. Out of the 3 Psycho episodes featuring Nora Dershlit as the villain, this one is by far the weakest of the bunch. And again, don't think I forgot about Nora's 4th appearance in the iCarly reboot. That episode does not technically have Psycho in the title and does not feature Nora as the main antagonist, so it's not a Psycho episode, but I'll review that one in the future, don't worry. Enough of me yapping. What do you guys think of hashtag Super Psycho? Do you agree with me that it sucked monkey balls compared to the other 2 Psycho episodes? Or do you think I'm being a little too harsh? Let me know how you're feeling in the comments, and let's kick it. And if you're still watching, that's amazing. I really appreciate it. Why not check out some other videos and subscribe if you haven't already? All right, thanks for listening.